Hi Diamonds! Here is a quick tutorial on how to apply the dried flowers in the Let the Petals Fall collection. And right now I am rocking Vintage Autumn on my ring finger. And this dip is made up of shimmers, beautiful gold flecks, foils, and then of course the real dried flowers. I went ahead and picked what flowers I wanted to do, and that was kind of determined by what finger I'm using for the accent nail and how big of flowers I wanted to do, what design. So I made sure to plan ahead of time what I wanted before I used my base liquid. So right here I'm just kind of figuring out where I want the placement to be and playing around with the flowers in that particular dip. There is also a really pretty light pink, almost white, thin strip petal from a flower in this dip. And right here I'm just trying to figure out if I want to include it in the design. I ended up not using it mainly because I have a lot of foils on my finger. I really wanted to show them off on my mani. So I went ahead and scrapped that idea and just stuck with the red and yellow flowers. Just in case you're not familiar with Vintage Autumn, this is the swatch that you guys saw in the photo, showcasing all the flowers, foils, and gold shimmer goodness that's in this dip. I really loved creating this collection, so I hope you guys love it too. I know that using real dried flowers can be intimidating at first, so I really hope this video helps you guys. Just know that you can tweak these flowers, these leaves in any way that you want to make it fit your nail, to create the design that you want. Just have fun with it. Right here I am just gently opening up the flower a little bit so it's easier to apply at the beginning. As I'm applying it to the nail, I will be opening up the flower more and just tweaking it as I need to apply it better. What I'm currently using to apply the real dried flowers are these stainless steel tweezers that are available at liftyourspiritdips.com under the nail tool category. I have gone through many tweezers and it drives me nuts if they have a very loose grip. These are fantastic. They are sturdy because they're stainless steel, and they have a strong enough grip where they will easily pick up small items, but they're gentle. So with these dried flowers, you definitely want to be gentle and not rip them as you're applying them. Just so you guys know what I've already done, I have applied a couple of layers building an apex with my base liquid. I separated the flowers and just dipped my finger in the base part of the dip, and I made sure to get a good bit of foil in there because I absolutely love foil and I wanted to bring these out in the mani. After that, I activated and filed the nail so I have a smooth surface to work on and apply the flowers. So here I am, just applying the base liquid. So here I'm just placing the red flower where I already designed it to be, and I'm getting it to stick to the base liquid and kind of moving it up where I want it. And then I take this handy tool that I include in all orders because it's a fantastic tool you can use for so many different things, and I just gently press it down onto the nail. And I don't need to smooth out this flower, but with the yellow flower you definitely need to do a little bit of finessing. You just gently apply it to the nail, and I use the flat part of the tweezer and the tip part of the tweezer to open up and spread the petals down along against the base liquid. The base liquid is actually great. It helps saturate the petals so it sticks and lays flat and doesn't poke up. So sometimes if it dries too quickly, depending on the liquid that you're using, I will go ahead, which you'll see here in a second, and apply a little bit more liquid base to the flower to saturate it so I can flatten it more and spread it and absorb it into the nail. And right here, I'm just spreading out the petals and letting the dip liquid absorb the petals. And it just blends in so nicely. And you just keep smoothing it out, like spreading it out away from the center of the flower. Meanwhile, you're gently pressing the flower against the nail to flatten it more. So here's where I'm trying to decide whether or not to use the thin petal stripe that is included in the dip. It can add a really pretty accent to your nail. I wanted the foils to stick out more, and I'm also working with my ring finger, which is smaller, so I decided against it, but I kept this in here so you guys can see how to apply it. So I applied it flat against the nail, and I just used the tweezers to kind of spread it out while pushing down gently onto the nail so that the base liquid starts to dry up against it. And you just keep doing that until it dries. Dip liquids don't take long to dry, so it really only takes a few seconds for it to really stick and lay flat. Any stubborn areas, more so at the end of the tips, you can just press down with that tool I showed earlier. And I think it looks really nice even without the strip. I absolutely love the foil and flower combination going on here. And the next step is just going to be activating the flowers as well as the dip base underneath. So what I use next is a plastic bag, namely the ones from my swatches, because I always have these on hand. And these are great when you get an empty one, just to use to flatten any type of chunky glitter, or in this case the real dried flowers, even further after activation. I usually wait probably 10 seconds or so after activation before I press down with the plastic bag, just so it's less sticky. Not a big deal either way. I usually go back in and apply more activator at the end of using the plastic bag, just to make sure I have enough activation going on so that the top coat dries after I flatten everything. But here I just kind of press down with the plastic bag to flatten the flowers more, and you can kind of roll over your finger or press down, whatever works best for you, whatever you need to do to get the items on your finger flat. just adding more activator to make sure I didn't wipe anything off with the plastic bag. The activator is very important because that is what allows your top coat to dry. So here I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before applying my first layer of top coat. Each liquid system has their own instructions, so whatever one you're using, just make sure you follow the directions for that, because sometimes it can be really tacky and not dry properly if you did not wait long enough before applying your top coat. You could also contaminate your top coat and it'll harden and you won't be able to use it. So another thing you can do if you want a more leveled, smooth surface using bulk items like real dried flowers, instead of activating like I did after applying the flowers, you can go ahead and add another thin layer of base liquid, dip that finger in clear dip powder to encapsulate and protect the flower, and then you can activate, file, and buff to get a more smooth, leveled surface. For the sake of time, I didn't do that. I ended up just going straight in with my first layer of top coat. After activating, in case you didn't know, you want to make sure that your first layer of top coat application is quick, and you only want to do like two swipes just so you don't contaminate your top coat liquid. So this is it for the mani. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. And I hope you think this pairing is really nice. I thought Vintage Autumn would look super pretty with some of the dips from the Sun and Moon collection. I am rocking the glitter called Brightest Star, and then the gold flecky interference dip next to it is called Low Moon. And it's just such a super pretty combo. I absolutely loved how this turned out. I also used some color blocking tape on my middle and pointer finger to separate the color blocking glitter with the solid dip. What I love about using striping tape is that your color blocking lines do not have to be perfect or straight. The striping tape will cover that right up, and it just turns out fabulous.